These are players in the public relations sector in the country. They have come to exchange ideas about the role of communication in increasing economic growth and viability of the nation. The Vice Chairman of Channels Media Group and Chairman of the lecture highlights points that will run through the day's engagement.
The element of communication should particularly interest us as public relations practitioners. This is because, as you're aware, public relations is an integral component of communication which deals with the exchange of meanings through portrayals. In the course of these portrayals or representations, an image is built, invariably reflecting the success or failure of the collective effort. It might then add up to how well an entity can compete and how growth can be made more inclusive.
The chairman and chief executive officer of Philips Consulting Group, who is the keynote speaker of this event, launches into his lecture, giving a definition of competitiveness.
But the concept of competitiveness is about the set of institutions, the various organizations we have, and we'll talk a bit about that, the policies of government, and the factors that determine the level of productivity and attractiveness of a country. For me, competitiveness is about attractiveness.
The Global Competitiveness Index derives from 12 pillars, including 4 basic ones of institutions, infrastructure, macroeconomy, health and primary education, parameters in which Nigeria is relatively weak, according to her own assessment. This is a further submission of the main speaker of the day.
If you can get these first 4 right, then all you have from the 5th pillar right to the end is building on a solid foundation that you've created. Also, the kind of role that you must play is that of participating by interpreting and by appreciating all the kinds of things that are going on in a way that you are almost the interpreter of what's happening on one side of the economy to the rest of the people.
The conference may have touched on challenges, but participants in the panel also proffer a way forward in different sectors.
The mobile phone. If you look at the agri sector, it has been found that a lot of countries have used it in different ways to improve the agri sector.
Maybe we can bridge the gap between the private sector and the tertiary institutions and find another way of making sure that those kids have access to relevant, current curriculum and best practice.
But I just believe that more and more, especially for the external listeners, let's tell them the good things. It's always, I've been in an environment where it's the external people that are telling me wonderful things about Nigeria that I just didn't have that perspective.
The chairman of the Lagos chapter of the NIPR reveals his plans for the institute.
The vision now is to make it an international event. So come next year, you are going to be seeing other countries participating in this in the activities of the Lagos PR Week.
The Nigerian Institute of Public Relations Leadership Lecture is held as part of activities to mark the Public Relations Week every year. Mary Alale Yusuf, Channels Television News.